Hello everyone, thanks to the power of the internet, I get to talk with you all, and Skyride has been a wonderful experience. And the thing to get me out of my stupor of hiatuses is definitely a fresh new reveal, one that I've been waiting for a very long time. We got the boy, and we're getting the queen too, who we'll go over at the end of the day, just because of it being released a little bit too early. But first, usurping my favorite starter from Stochea, Banana, we have the boy. He's so good. He's general squishy and will be in all Aqua themed decks going forward. I do not care. Please show him all the utmost respect. He deserves it. He's been such a good jelly boy. Alright, but going on the routine of all of Stochea, for the most part, once this thing is rode over, you search your deck up for your grade 3 set order. Not set order, normal order. I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm just really excited. I have a script off to the side with all the effects, but I'm going to stumble a little bit because this is like fresh, hot off the presses, and I'm excited. But yeah, really good generic grade 1 that gets your future plays. We have another good boy, a very big boy. Once again, when it's rode upon by your main grade 3, look at the top 7, discard 2, shuffle your deck. That's really good because this is a very like Cristiano's Night Rose-esque deck where your main plays come from the drop zone a la Grand Blue plays. Now, you might be wondering what the grade 3 does. There's 2 of them, and I will go over them. This is your main grade 3. This will be the one that is featured in the Ride deck. Of course, you see that once per turn on Vanguard, you can Energy Blast to choose a card from your drop and call it a rear. Very effective, very energy friendly. Considering Stochea probably has one of the best energy chargers for just getting that convenient too, outside of the fact you get 3 every turn. So your energy's kind of opened a bit, but also at the end of the battle, this unit attacked, CB, retire 2 rear guards, choose up to 1 grade 3 with Reguregnus and its different card name from the drop and ride the stand with drive -2. And when you would ride by this effect, the unit that would ride over here gains all the power and critical that this unit had from triggers. So you can just go like everything to Vanguard. Hit OT, I'm gonna swing with OT again. Love this lad. Love it so well. Cause, what are you riding into? Well, you're riding into the undead version. You're retiring your Vanguard for 1 from the drop. God, I love this game. And when it's placed on the Vanguard, by the effect of your previous one, you're going to Soul Blast 1, choose a Deeplands Reguregnus from drop, and call it to rearguard, and at the end of the turn, move that unit back to your rearguard as rest. So basically what you want to do is Soul Blast out the Vanguard you just rode over to call it to rear, which enables you to get yet another attack, so far we're looking at 4. This thing can get up to 5 if played right. To protect, to keep on multi-attacking, and then you'll just go back to it, so you open up another rearguard space, which helps for counterplay against like lock, retire, and what have you. But this thing still has more effects. When it attacks, if your opponent is grade 3 or greater, this unit was placed from drop, it gets an extra drive. So even though it's drive -2, it's getting drive +1, so you're still getting 1 check. But also, you might notice that this card specifically has a Guardian effect, which is new and interesting. For each grade of your Vanguard with Deeplands in its card name, this unit gets shield +5. So what is this thing? This thing is also a 15 Guardian if you are on grade 3, meaning it's just an extra trigger. But also, if you can guard outside of, your grade, this is technically like a 5k shield grade 1, 10k shield grade 2. But for the most part, you're going to save this for the end game because you're going to guard with it, and you don't want this thing in hand to ride with because you want a persona and then get this thing back from drop. So you're not losing any real value using it and it helps the bricking issue because it offers more play, considering it's now a shield and you're not just like a mask version going, this thing's going to sit in my hand for eternity until I find my mask, or, you know, can do something with it, discard it somehow. Alright, going on, we have more support. You might notice very early on, I stumbled over the fact that I called this thing a set order. I'm technically correct, but in a very massively weird way, that this normal order is incredibly cool and is a bit buffed from the manga version. But let me tell you what it is. You can play this card from drop, which already makes it phenomenal, but it's a Soul Blast and Retire Rearguard, and you have to have the Vanguard with Reguregnus in its name. Choose up to 2 cards from your drop, with grade less than or equal to your Van, of course, call them a rear, and until end of turn, your Vanguard gets +5. Don't forget, your Vanguard only states you get power from your trigger, so I believe it does lose that 5k from the order. However, this thing then performs one of the following based on the number of cards in your order zone with the same name as this card, which is how this normal order technically becomes a set order. Because if you don't have any, you put this card into your order zone. But then anytime after that, 1 or more, you will bind this card, choose 1 Call of Deeplands, which is this card, in your order zone until end of turn. It gets a continuous, which increases power by 5k. So, what does that do? Because this thing has a continuous in order zone. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, your units with Deeplands that are placed from drop by the ability of cards either with this name or with Reguregnus gets +5. Meaning with the effect from the top, it's actually getting +10. So everything being called from drop is going to be massive, which includes your Soul Blast from your Vanguard to call back the grade 3, meaning it's going to be a 23k beater. If you Persona-roid, it's already 33 and you've done absolutely nothing but play into the deck. So goddamn, is that phenomenal. So this is already a big win order that even though you're retiring 1, you're basically calling 2 back, giving them more power and giving your Van an extra 5k, which is huge. Going on, this thing gets more support, and it's so good. So goddamn good. You have Deeplands right here. Everything is just Deeplands. Just getting that out of the way. If you have a Call of Deeplands in your order zone, you may Soul Blast 1 and call this card to open rear if it's in the drop. Meaning, because this is in a drop ability, and it doesn't say if you've played Call of Deeplands, you can technically play Call of Deeplands, retire this thing, right, and then Soul Blast 1 and get it back. Free unit? When was that bad? It gets more power because you're calling it in Call of Deeplands? What? Additionally, if it's attacking a grade 3 or greater, if it's placed from an ability, it gets an additional 5k. So you want this thing in the drop to call itself back to get 5k. Call of Deeplands at most is going to give it +5. So just from playing the deck, this thing is already 20. And it's a rare. And, of course, you get a squishy grade 1. This is the last card it gets. If you have Deeplands in its name, it gets all of the following. Auto when it's placed on rearguard from hand. Look at top 3, discard 1, shuffle. So you get to play into the deck by just keep on discarding more. However, when this unit is retired from rearguard by any player's ability, you can counterblast 1 and draw a card. So technically you exist in a game state when you're going against Bav or Varga, where you can have this thing in the front lines, attack with it, and then on your opponent's turn when it's retired, you can counterblast and draw a card. Is that optimal? Not at all, but it's incredibly funny. Or at least I find that incredibly funny. So you might be asking yourself, what cards go good with this? Well, for the most part, you want things that give you more recursion and everything. And Stoicheia, of course, has a lot of good staples. I pulled up here. you've already seen, like, I wish this thing gets the alt art thing from the drawing of the manga, because Rotting Usurp has never looked better. But when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard is placed on Van, you get to call this thing to rear. So, when you swing with your Vanguard, you retire your 2 front rears. You will then call the one from drop. You'll call the grade 3 that you Soul Blast, and then Rotting Usurp sees a new grade 3 called, and you get to play this. Not too bad to make you a 5-attack deck that takes a little bit of setup, but in reality, it's getting this thing to drop, which also means this thing is a free discard fodder, because you can get rid of it on your ride up, and then when you place your grade 3 Vanguard from, ride deck, you get this for free. And then, you can retire it off of Deeplands for anything you want, and it's just going to come on back. The deck this thing actually came a part of, in the manga, she's from Deeplands. Her name is Deeplands, so she gets buffs, and she's awesome because she's T-Fault. She's an in-archetypal T-Fault. You Soul Blast one from playing her from drop, from, Call of Deeplands. You look at top 5, you get another card, but additionally, when it's placed from drop, you Energy Blast 2. Mind you, your Vanguard's also 2. So technically, if you're playing this, you're 4. But, until end of your opponent's turn, it can't intercept, and it can't stand, and it will get 5k more if it's attacking a grade 3 or greater. Finally, a good deck for her. And she's not power crept in it, because her name is Deeplands. Alright, enough gushing about that. We also have Philander, who would have guessed Fork Fountain Kitchen, in a discard deck. When placed from hand, look at top 5, choose whatever you want, get rid of it, and then it's an 18k booster. This thing is probably going to usurp this, because while on place, look at top 3, get rid of something, and the Counterblast 1 draw a card is good, there's just something about look at top 5, discard 1, and then get 18k whenever, technically 23 if you call it back from an effect or whatever. It's just too good not to pass up. And this one's going to be a bit biased. It's really bad in the deck, but I gotta call out my boy who carried me so much with Cristianos, Surging Sharp Fangs. He's just a 15k boy. You can't ride him or call him from hand normally without him being retired. But in any deck where you can have a T-Fault that can call this thing off the top rip, you revive from drop, getting a 15k booster that can technically be 25k is incredibly terrifying. So this thing can be just an additional attacker or a 25k booster at its peak. And I just want to highlight him. He's just so good, and more people have to play him. But outside of that, like, the deck's really straightforward. You're playing this in the ride, you're playing this in the ride, ride. Maximum copies at 4. It's shield value and the main thing you're trying to get into. It's always going to find itself in the drop zone somehow, so if you want to play less copies, you can go off. I'd like to see it, but probably at most you're playing 4. You're playing 4 copies of this. It's a great normal order that becomes a set order. I love the design of that. I think it's really cool and interactive. This thing is probably going to be the thing that gets replaced the soonest, even though it's a really good recursion tool. But at the moment, it's the best thing Deeplands has. It has something in the Deeplands name you're playing 4 of. Like I said, you're probably playing like 3-4 of this thing, just because it's a common, but if not, you're going for Cristianos. Rotting Usurp's really good, but it's not necessarily a full play set. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, whatever. You're probably playing this at 2. Meredith, it's a T-Fault. You're in an order deck. It's playing 4 of. Outside of that, you're probably playing Stokea OT, because it's really funny, because it's just all the triggers wrapped in one. I can see an argument for red, because you get another thing that restands, making you technically a 6-attack deck. You're probably playing fronts in this just for the extra shield value. I can see an argument for the shield fronts because you're using a lot of Soul Blast from, Meredith and whatnot. but realistically you're not, because you're going to ride back over the grade 3 and you're just going to soul blast that out, and then you're just going to keep looping that. So that's why I said shield fronts, and you're not going to play draws because you're going to deck yourself. If you want to play one for the one-off, go for it. But also, something that was revealed, and I want to see more support, but this came a lot early, just giving you insight. This is a Dark State deck I'm definitely going to play. I love the character, I love the design of this dragon, and it's just another Dark States deck that I goddamn love. When it's placed on Van, search your deck for 1 Queen Order, add it to hand. If you Persona Road, you get 2. Hey, guess what? Counter Blast when it attacks. Choose a card from your soul and call it a rear. If your opponent's a grade 3 or greater, guess what? You get to call 2 instead of 1. And don't worry, if you overcall something, they just go back into soul. Oops. Oops, all soul value. So that's something to be excited about, but like, I'm a Stokea person at heart. I don't care how bad most of the nation is. This thing is going to be really fun, and I've been waiting for it so long, and especially a home for Meredith, because she came out so much later in life, but I'm so happy her deck was ported over. I can't wait to play this. It just hits the right feels. I play tested with it a little bit, and it's just a lot of fun. Please let me know what you think. I already know what some of my friends thinks. If you've been on Twitter, you know who's the most excited about this deck, and it's certainly not I. But if you made it this far, past my mad goddamn ramblings, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.